Hello everyone, today we're looking at the races of Meteor Tales, a role-playing game, so buckle up. Hello, kind disclaimer, everything you see in the book is subject to change. I'm still playing around with stuff. We're talking about the races today. We've got 5 core races and 5 exotic ones. I'll try to, talk about the most important aspects of each race in terms of abilities, history, lore, and some other properties. So, we've got humans, the first race. We're going to use the humans as a bridge between everything else, because an average race, and it helps me measure the other races. So humans have got a legacy called quick knowledge. They gain more experience points. So as a result, if you play a campaign, you've got humans in your party, they're going to develop faster. Okay, like all the races, almost all the races, they were created by the Great Sentinel. And as I mentioned in the book, humans created the books of first magic and recorded spells that matched the power of gods. They led the first quest, an initiative meant to end the battle of the gods during the First Age. Humanity is a dominant species in Vitalia in population, number of kingdoms and overall power. So if you see the world map, humans take all of the 4 clans. They also occupy Dragoria, the islands, so they're a bit of everywhere. So yes, 80% or 70% of the world's population consists of humans. So that's that. Next we have the Sirakrat. So they're a newly formed race. Not long ago they were common humans until they were taught the way of Kadash, a technique that allows them to draw power by self-inflicting pain, the power that allows oneself to transcend human limits. So they're actually humans that use blood magic to evolve into something else. The Sirakrat are religious fanatics, okay, and they use this power, the Kadash, this ability, to gain more grit, and it also unlocks other abilities as well. There are 2 tribes of the Sirakrat, the Mo and the Saru. So most of the player character Sirakrat will be Mo, because the Saru are cannibals, they're very hardcore. So the Sirakrat are a new race, so we're seeing the first generation of the Sirakrat actually in the current timeline of the world. The Sirakrat followed the gods of the sacred blood to cleanse the unholy kingdoms after the battle of the 4 daughters. So if you read about the 4 daughters, it happened around 20 years ago, according to the current timeline. It was a great clash, similar to the battle of the gods, and the Sirakrat were born right after that. Moving on, we have the Fae. Fae are creatures born of trees. They're the newest race to exist in Vitalia, just recently created by the Sentinel. They live in hollows of trees and are as wild as free. So they're a tree-born race, of course, created by the Sentinel, like all of nature. But they're wild creatures, they're short fellows. They were born in Exotia through trees in time when the Sentinel was under attack by other forces. All Fae creatures were innately tasked to aid their creator. So they're a race more attuned to nature, and the Sentinel than any other race. Fae share various similarities with elves, but are wilder and fiercer, more animal than human if provoked. They are often guided by sentient trees that function as shepherds for their tribe. Fae can also imitate the sounds of birds and animals as regular speech. This is just a small minor ability. Their main ability is called Seal, and they can control animals within their perception at will. So they also have an ability called Wild Step. They can move through difficult terrain. Very important as well. Moving on, we have the Medai. So the Medai are alien creatures that entered Vitalia through another dimension. They are a nomadic people whose form derives from an ancient curse. So Medai lived in the plane of Pantheon before entering Vitalia. They are considered a new race, and their numbers are limited and spread throughout Vitalia. It is rumored that they had been cursed by an overlord in Pantheon, which is another plane, and ever since they have living snakes on the head instead of hair. So this feature is also their main ability. It's pretty powerful. They have this serpent hair, and they can use it to attack or counterattack, stuff like that, and they also use it for perception. They are a nomadic people. They travel between worlds to survive. They have snakes instead of hair. So that's with the Medai. And then we have the Brutgor, the final one of the core races. Brutgors are giant-blooded barbarians that take what they wish by force. They follow the omens of their shamans and live by raiding nearby settlements. They are a warrior race that should never be underestimated when it comes to battle, regardless of their primitive nature. In terms of history, Brutgors fought a tribe of giants and claimed the land around Mount Armugrand, a dry land filled with volcanoes and vast deserts. So, as you can imagine, they are the warrior or shaman classes. They are like the Dothraki in a way, but with giant's blood. And they can wield two-handed weapons with one hand, which is a very powerful ability. But they require 2 rations due to their size, and they also go berserk, so they can really become dangerous to their allies as well. So having a Brutgor in your party can be an asset, but it can also be a bane. So these are the main races, the playable core races for the Book of Heroes. As you can see here down the right, we've got a nationality table. So when you choose your character, regardless of the race, you can choose a nationality, like the state your character was raised in, and you can get a free language. So it doesn't go with a race, it goes with a nationality. Let's take a look now at the other exotic races. So, we have the gargoyles. Gargoyles were created by the Sentinel. They have established a secluded kingdom concealed by tall walls where access to outsiders is limited or prohibited without authorization. So, as you can understand, gargoyles are creatures capable of flight and even turning to stone. So their 2 main abilities are flight and stoneborn. They can fly when in prime or reduced grid. It can be dangerous because if you fall below reduced grid, you can fall and you can damage yourself. And stoneborn means you are immune to petrification, but you can also turn to stone by using an action. So you become a statue, okay, but recovering from that can be tricky. Then we have the dwarves. The classic races are kept classic as a tribute to fantasy games. I didn't mess around with their abilities much, but I converted them to the Meteor Tales system and lore. So dwarves are renowned as skilled craftsmen and miners, okay? With a deep fondness of minerals, gold, and intricate contraptions, dwarves boast a long-standing tradition of craftsmanship dating back to their earliest generations. And so they've got these 2 abilities, runic blood. They have a resilience to magic and high craft. Any craft skill they take they're faster at it. Moving on, we have the Serenians. So Serenians are a persecuted human tribe that has evolved through mutation, inheriting attributes from both humans and vampires as a result of their captivity during a war between the two races. Originally known as the Shattered, Serenians endured captivity and suffering at the hands of a vampire army, resulting in significant losses before ultimately regaining their freedom. So they're hybrids, they're human vampires. Keep in mind that they don't require blood to survive, or they don't die at sunlight or stuff like that. They're much more human than vampire, but they have this theme, you know. So they have two abilities: wall crawling, so they can climb any surface, and moon vision, so it's a light form of night vision. I hate night vision, I don't use it at all, because you have to use torches and lanterns. So if you want to play like a gothic fantasy hero, there's your pick. Sarkanta. Sarkanta descend from dragons. They are genderless creatures that hatch from dragon eggs and share many draconic attributes as well. They hoard gold and live in mines and look down on most other races and creatures. So yeah, these are always fun to play. Sarkanta were born of dragons who arrived in Vitalia from another dimension. Their population is limited, and their survival as species depends on the existence of dragons. They occupied an island called Miasel and seldom stray to the mainland except from the promise of gold. So the Sarkanta have a hive mind type of community. They toil in the mines to serve their dragon overlords, because their survival depends on it. If there are no dragons, there are no eggs, no more Sarkanta. They have this dragon form ability. They do not transform or something like that, but they have scales, and they also use a breath weapon. That's always fun. Very powerful. And lastly, we have the elves. Classic old beautiful elves are creatures blessed with longevity. They are graceful, attuned to nature, and characterized by elegance and virtue. Elves are tall and slim and beautiful, and vary in color of skin and hair according to their bloodline. They are skilled in crafts and music, and prefer the company of animals to people, and enjoy solitude and nature. So, elves are children of the Sentinel. They followed the Elven Queen Lyra to the Eastern continent across the Sirius Sea after the Battle of the Gods. They have three abilities: High Blood, which means immune to known diseases, which is very important in that game. Sharp Vision, they can see through dim light or fog, again very powerful. And Steady Step, they can move through difficult terrain. I'm probably gonna patch these. They seem kind of powerful, but all of the exotic races are meant to be more powerful, so keep that in mind if you design a campaign that uses them. You can also see the structure here, and so there you go. You have an overview of all the races, all 10 races of Italia, the playable ones. I'm planning at some point to release some more races as well, because there are some ancient and extinct civilizations, but more of that in another video. Let me know if you have any questions. Keep in mind I've got a Kickstarter running. You may want to pay a visit. I've got the link below. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, you can support this new game through the Kickstarter, and I'll see you next time.